Today we will discuss with you very important topic nowadays. It is project management for creative startups, navigating digital transformation. The rules of our work for today, it is to be active, to ask me questions in a chat, or you can raise a hand and ask questions. It will be quite practical lecture and with some elements of workshop, because at the end of our lecture, we'll discuss with you a real startup. It was a project that we apply with our territorial community in digital transformation and creativity. And you will see how you can make your startup better, to learn how to create a task for startup, budget, etc. Why I'm reading this lecture for you today? Because our agency is the main actor in our region in preparing international projects. We won during the last year 20 grant projects for 22.2 million Ukrainian hryvnias. It is quite big budget for startups as well, because we help small and medium enterprises, we help veteran businesses, we help women entrepreneurship and women startups, and as well as your startups in developing, expanding their activity, and finding new markets for their representation. So today, let's discuss with you these 4 questions of our agenda. It is global trends in creative industries and startup movement. Then digitalization of creative industry, then project management and operational tools. How we can use project management in creating and developing startups, and application form when we apply for funding and for grants. And question number 4, it is preparing a startup project from concept to strategy. Also quite useful information where I will show you how to make a real startup, the structure of startup, what you should present for your pitching deck, for example, and for the investor. So I hope that today communication will be useful. Let's move to our first question. It is about creative economy. Is it possible, could you type in our chat what is for you creative economy? How you understand creative economy? Or maybe somebody would like to raise a hand and speak in voice. Maybe you can mention which type of creative economy is in your country. For example, art, music, films, movies, streaming services, video games, publishing, architecture, visual art. Okay. All these that I mentioned, okay, we have in the chart small. Okay, guys, if you would like to answer to this question at the end of our lecture, you can mention, and I hope you better understand what is creative startup and what is creative economy. So creative economy involves the creation, production, and distribution of goods and services using creativity and intellectual capital as primary inputs. It spans advertising, architecture, arts, design, music, movie production, publishing, and video games, generating 2.3 million United States dollars in annual revenue globally. So imagine 2.3 trillion in the global economy. It is created by creativity sector. Contributing 3.1 to global GDP and accounting 6.2 of global employment. So it is a really huge sector of economy nowadays, and therefore lots of youngsters create their startups in this sector as well. So let's move to the next. how we can see global contribution and policy in creative industry. So you can see that the creative industry it is 0.5 till 7.3% of GDP contribution. If you look dependence on the countries, wellness, etc. If we speak about workforce, it is from 0.5 to 12.5 in the average economy. Lots of countries, they have 70% aims and tasks in their strategies related to creative economy and development of creative sector, as well as creative startups. It means that our government try to support such type of economic sector because they understand that it is add value products and services. Uh, and most nations have creative ministries. Like it could be a part of Ministry of Education, it could be a part of Ministry of Economy as well. But by the way, they have such parts in their governmental structure. So as I mentioned, like 70% of countries have dedicated creative economy plans or aims in national strategies, and they have regulatory bodies, agencies that support the development of such creative sector. In our country, if we speak about Ukraine, it is Ministry of Economy who is responsible for the development of such sector. Our Ministry of Economy, they have an ecosystem of fundings and grants that supported different types of businesses. It is for own business, it is for veteran business, it is for creative industry, it is for youngsters, and it is for food processing industry and non-food processing industry. So also we have grants for agricultural business. So therefore, like we have a whole ecosystem in the ecosystem when young businessman or startup can apply for a grant and receive it from the government. Hope that you have something similar in your country. So let's move to the next information that is quite useful nowadays. That creative industry it is depends from digital transformation. So therefore, we have a topic like project management of creative startups, navigating digital transformation. Why it's happened? Because creative industry shift to digital content, like everywhere in advertisement, in publishing books, in movies, musics, even architecture and visual arts as well. So digital creative content is rapidly replacing physical goods like books, films, music, and global entertainment and media revenue growth in now primarily driven by digital services and especially artificial intelligence. I know that your previous lecture was about artificial intelligence. Next one, it is royalty trends. For the first time, digital platforms are the largest sources of royalty collections. For creators, it is 35% of total, and subscription streaming is the primary driver of this growth. If you ask me what is royalty, it is a percentage that you pay for using license of movie or music. If you use this for example, content in your advertisement campaigns, so you pay royalties. And author of such video or music will receive this royalty. You can download this content from photo stocks or video stocks of the movies, and author receive his or her royalty. And another trend that we have, it is emerging models. Digitalization supports streaming, digital platforms, and gamification across non-creative sectors. What means non-creative sectors? It is like average sectors in our economy, even industries or production. And even there, we have gamification, we have streaming, we have digital platforms. Let's look at Nike company. They have customization in their website where you can create your Nike shoes using different methods. For example, you can color them in red, in blue, in gold, and receive your unique pair of shoes using a digital platform and gamification at the same time. So therefore, like digital transformation influence on creative industry and creative startups as well. And I would like to show you a few examples how it influences on news and media, in journalism tools, advertisement efficiency, hyper personalization, and ad generation. So, artificial intelligence boosts productivity by automating summaries, converting text to speech for accessibility, and utilizing advanced image recognition. So it means that nowadays artificial intelligence give opportunity to create news and media like in really very fast way. You can write a text by putting in such sources as Gemini, ChatGPT, Claude, etc. Just a phrase about some event, and artificial intelligence can create for you an article to publish it in the official website or in social media. As well, artificial intelligence can create for you a picture or photo. So, about journalism tools, automated journalism systems scan vast data sets to instantly generate reports on financial trends and election results. Also quite useful activity nowadays. Then advertisement efficiency. It is marketers leverage AI to analyze massive data streams, identifying consumer trends, and making data-driven decisions in real time. Ad generation or advertisement generation, platforms automatically create A/B test thousands of ad variations, structuring the market with only the best performing creative. And hyper personalization. As I mentioned in an example with Nike, so you have opportunity to personalize content for your target audience. You can personalize creative design of shoes, clothes, etc. And it doesn't cost so much nowadays. So recommendation engines analyze online behavior to suggest hyper-relevant content from movies to personalized shopping ads. So really good examples that we see every time in Instagram, Facebook, YouTube as well. So it recommends for us advertisement campaigns according to our search. It recommends for us movie according to our needs and wants, and also search systems that we search something. Therefore, like AI and digitalization really transformed creative industry, because before creative industry, it was something crafted, making by hands, like sewing, like painting, etc. Nowadays, like I think that 90% of creative industry and creative startups right now in digital. And redefining entertainment creation. So what's happened using digitalization with our film production, restoration, music composition, video games, and voice synthesis. So AI streamlines workflows from screenplay drafting to the pre-visualization and creation of hyper-realistic special effects. It means that we don't need to shoot something. We can ask artificial intelligence to create this scene in a movie, and then upload it in the part of the movie. Then restoration, so machine learning tools breathe new life into aged films, automatically removing imperfection and upscaling to 8K resolution. It means that we can watch the movies of quite popular animators like Walt Disney, and let's imagine these cartoons with Mickey Mouse of 19th, 15th, 19th, 10s become more beautiful nowadays using restoration. Music composition, algorithms analyze musical theory and patterns to suggest melodized or generate complete tracks in specific artist styles also. It shows us that nowadays we can easily create music without having any musician education. Is it risky for those who receive this education? In some ways, yes. But if you would like to have unique product, of course, you need to have this education. Then voice synthesis stream technology allows creators to isolate vocals or synthesize voices, enabling new performance from existing vocal profiles. And about video games, AI-driven procedural generation creates infinite in-game environments and levels, ensuring the unique experience for every player. And right now we will go to the each sector that we described before, like advertisement, architecture, etc. And we will discuss how startups developing here in these sectors, the main startups, and maybe you will find some interesting ideas in this presentation. But before we go to this part, I would like to ask you a few questions in our chat about what we discussed before. Just a second. I will stop my presentation and ask in our chat some questions that we discussed before. So, and first question will be, what percentage of global GDP is contributed by the creative economy? So please choose the information from the chart. So you have right now four variants. I'm so sorry. Just a second. Just a second. Please look at this small test and answer the questions. What is the percentage of global GDP contributed by the creative economy? We discussed this in our first slide. What do you think? Is it 1.5? Is it 3.1? Yes. Is it 6.2 or it is 10%? So we have Danila who answered it is B. Yes, Natalia also B, and Rama Triki answers that it is 6.2. As you see in my presentation, it is B, 3.1%. Yes, you're absolutely right. And right now we go to the next question. Just a second. It's about our creative sectors that we discussed. Which creative sector generates more revenues than film and music industry combined? What do you think about this? Yes, you're absolutely right. Video games. Because it uses films and music inside, so therefore video games. Yes, absolutely right. And right now we continue our lecture, and then we will have extra questions after a few slides. So therefore be really very attentive. So let's move to the advertisement. So advertisement, it is sector number one in startups as well and in creative industry, and global advertising revenues reached $806 billion in 2023. Why I put such information here? Because it is the latest report that we have in UNCTAD. So digital advertisement accounted for 57.7% of global spend, and it's projected to exceed 60% by 2026. So it means that this year we will have that digital advertisement will be 60% in all creative sector. In-game advertisement. Why it is so popular nowadays? Because we need to attract new clients by gamifying some process. There is a dynamic increase in advertisements through video games, with revenues in the subsector expected to grow from $70 billion in 2022 to $137 billion in 2027. So it means that it almost doubled in our next year, and this tendency is really very true. And if you look at this diagram, you will see regional leaders in spending for advertising. And we can see that this United States of America, it is 44%. Then Asia Pacific with big percentage in Japan and Korea as well. Then Europe, Middle East and Africa. We are like Europe in the in the third position with 21%. And Latin America, it is just 3.4%. If we go to the most valued and most important startups in advertising, it could be in three sectors: generative creative startups, ad tech automation, and targeted and specialized. So if we go about, if we speak about creation of content and generation of content, the best startups here, it is Lapis, it is AI-powered image ads for Instagram and LinkedIn. So it helps to generate these images. Then Absurd, it is high-performance video ads delivered in 72 hours. So therefore, you can go to their websites and learn about these startups, how they earn money here. Then AdTech automation. It is Engentio. It is a pioneer in autonomous advertising platforms. And Fluency. Fluency, it is AI agents automating campaigns across Meta. You know that Meta is Facebook, Instagram, Google, and TikTok. And targeted and specialized, it is Vibe, the rising leader in streaming TV and buying, and Dick, it is using LLMs to protect the brands from disinformation and safety risks. So it is the most powerful startups for 2026. So let's move to the architecture. So architecture, it is second big sector in creative economy. Here we have some trends. While architecture fees the healthcare project saw record growth, fees from corporate office work decreased in 2022. If we speak about top companies that represent architecture, so it is Gensler in United States. They employ more than 3,000 architecture in their offices, and their fee income, it is more than $1,500 million. Then Arcadis in Netherlands, then HDR United States, Sweco Sweden, Nikken, it is Japan, Hirim Architecture and Planners, Republic of Korea, Perkins Eastman, it is United States, Hech Architecture, Republic of Korea, HKS, United States, and DLR Group in United States. So it is the biggest companies according to the employment, and you can see the fee income of their services. If we speak about countries, which countries are leading in creative economy in architecture sector, in the first position it is China. They have 12 firms, Philippines 6 firms, and India 5 firms. Which technologies they use to be competitive in this market? Of course, they use virtual reality and artificial intelligence. And let's look at the most powerful startups of 2026 in architecture. So design leaders, it is Ryan, it is the Google Docs for floor plans and collaborative web-based. Then it is Finch 3D, it is optimizing floor plans for CO second efficiency, it is carbon dioxide efficiency and spatial logic. Then Gendo, it is leading the market in AI-powered architectural rendering. And if you speak about efficiency and automation, it is Swep. It is eliminating tedious work by automating the construction documents and Mercator artificial intelligence, providing real-time intelligence for tracking construction projects. So you can track your project using real-time to understand how it will look in the first year of building, then in the second year, etc., etc. So which key focus? Of course, industry shifting to the generative design. Generative design, it means generated by artificial intelligence. Then sustainability. It means that nowadays in architecture, houses, buildings, co-workings, creative spaces become more sustainable. They use, for example, old plants, factories to modernize it, to renovate it, and robotic reconstruction and construction. You know that lots of companies right now produce robots and not to use labor force in very risky environment. Nowadays, companies try to use robots. Let's go to our sector number 3. It is audiovisual sector, and it includes films and televisions. So if we speak about global box offices, it means where we can buy tickets. The revenue was 33.9 billion United dollars. And expected to hit pre-pandemic levels by 2025. Then, if we speak about streaming subscription, right now it is 14%. It means that it is higher. High rate because nowadays lots of users use Amazon subscription, Netflix subscription to watch films and watch televisions. Nowadays at homes we don't use like TV, just like cable television. In the majority of cases, like people buy subscription, Walt Disney Plus, etc. And India is the world's top film producer nowadays. They contribute 29% of global volume. It is a very huge percentage, and we understand because of the population, like number of population in India, so we have such huge percent. Then TV revenue by 2026, so traditional TV revenues declining, as I mentioned before, from $231 billion to $222 billion by 2026. So it means that people less and less watch like cable television. In the majority of cases, they move to the YouTube Premium or they move to their Netflix subscriptions, etc. Let's go to the top film and TV tech startups. So we have startups in production revolution, content and marketing, and culture leaders. So if we speak about production revolution, it is flawless AI, it is revolutionary artificial intelligence, dubbing that maintains the actor's original performance in any language. So it is subtitles that we can receive quite good using paraphrasing, using statements that we can use in Ukrainian language, English language, French, German, and you like when you watch the movie with such subtitles, you think that it is like perfect translation and translation by native speakers. So next one, it is Synopsys. It is operating system for Hollywood production management. Next one, it is Moon Valley. It is pushing the boundaries of generative AI-powered videos. If we speak about content and marketing, Sandwich Video, it is the premier partner for high-end semantic text storytelling. Wix, it is dominating the Spanish language streaming landscape. And about cultural leaders, it is Tubi and Wired remain top rated workplaces for innovation in 2022. Let's move to the sector number 4. It is books and publishing. If you look at the picture, you will understand that the main leader in the it is manga, and it continued to rise, and it's go digital, not just publishing like books and magazines. So what about digital influence on books and publishing industry? So the industry is heavily influenced by online social networks. For example, BookTok on TikTok has significant impact book variety and sales. Cross-industry success, TV and films adaptations are major drivers of growth, with adapted novels receiving roughly 4 times as many ratings as those that are not. And manga explosions, the manga market reached 2.5 times its previous 2007 sales peak in 2022, fueled by the availability of anime and on digital platforms. As I mentioned, like lots of people who draw manga, they don't need right now to publish it like books, like magazines. You can publish your content on special platforms and receive your royalties for publishing such stories. It is also one of the good ideas for startups because if you know such platform like Kickstarter, first place according to the April of 2026, it was a story like fantastic story about elves, etc., and it is also published in startups. Let's go to the platforms and startups in publishing and book producing. So the big players, innovative hybrid models and future trends. Immer, it is mobile optimized reading experience, and Storyverse, it is interactive immersive storytelling. Of course, even me, like when we have no time, we can listen audiobooks, and I hope that using Storyverse, like Google Glasses or virtual reality glasses, even we can imagine the story with what's happened in the book. Then Amazon, you know that it is one of the biggest startup and one of the oldest startup that transforming the publishing industry. You remember that they introduced Kindle many years ago, and lots of bookshops closed all over the world because people start buying books online. So Amazon KDP, it is from the Kindle abbreviations. It is the gold standard for global reach. Then ReadC, it is a marketplace connecting authors with editors and designers. Why it is useful? Because nowadays you don't need to find the agency that will print for you this book and another designer who will design it for you. You can go to the platform, send your manuscript of your book, and editors will design and create the book, and then you can publish or make it in PDF, like electronic version. Then Ingram Spark, the essential tool for library and bookstore distribution. Atmosphere Press, it is leading the way in transparent, high-quality hybrid publishing. So it is like different types of startups that created in publishing industry, but quite popular all over the world, as well as in Ukraine. I have friends that create novels using artificial intelligence, using music, etc., and they create such audiobooks even with visualization. They are quite popular and they sell their books in digital platforms. and quite successful. Right now we go to the sector number 5. It is music, and we have also lots of music startups. You know, lots of them like Spotify, etc. Before Spotify was also a startup, and it was a unicorn. Who knows what is a unicorn? Let's write in our chat what is unicorn, guys. What is unicorn? I will type in our chat. A unicorn startup. Who knows? Okay. Uh, unicorn character. No, it's not a character, Oriana. Unicorn, it's like, like unicorn, it's a very unique course. Yes. Therefore, like startup also is really very unique. Yes, Danila is absolutely right that it is startup which brings much more than investments, and such unicorns in Ukraine and in Europe we use such services like Grammarly. It is English character and like service that can write for your letters, correct your presentation, etc. If you know that Grammarly, it is example of Ukrainian startups and become unicorn. Bolt, it is a common service like Uber. That also before was a unicorn. It is Estonian company and it was Estonian startup and also attract lots of investors uh, to expand this business right now. You can have bolt services even all over the world, even in small cities as well. Then also we can tell that it is Spotify as well. So, and when we speak about musics, also lots of unicorns are here. Okay, great. So record revenues reached 28.6 billion United States in 2023, marking its ninth consecutive year of growth. It means that because we like music, because we listen different artists and musicians, of course, revenues for music increase, and it is not just from streaming platforms, it also by buying tickets for concerts and entertainment. So streaming dominance. Streaming now accounts for more than two-thirds, 67% of the total global market. And you will be surprised that Sub-Saharan Africa was the fast-growing region with 24.7 revenue growth, followed by Latin America, 19.4. Why it's happened? Because like in Europe and America, like streaming services are quite popular. So therefore, we are on the top of development of our streaming services in music. And in the developing countries, of course, streaming services just entered to their market and very fast moving to different users and subscribers. So innovation. The industry is expanding through the virtual events such as music festival hosted by Minecraft, for example. There are lots of examples in Japan, in Tokyo, when they use their anime um, um, holograms of their artists, and lots of people come to see this visualization of their artists. The same quite popular in K-pop. Therefore, like lots of startups are here in music. So let's look at them. So creation tools. So creation tools, you understand that it is when you plan to make a music, you can use different services. And these services before was startups. So BandLab and Splice lead with the generative AI tools that assist rather than replace the artist processes. Then rights and management. Cobalt continues to innovate in royalty transparency, and Nero empowers curators and DJs. Live and social. DICE, it is disrupting event ticketing with a mobile-first approach. Music League, bringing social gaming to music discovery. Mihalo, high-quality, lag-free audio for live audience. And virtual artist Hume is pioneering in AI-powered Misters you remember that I told you that you can create virtual artists that make concerts and lots of people who like such artists in, for example, social media, or maybe they are manga or anime. They go to visit such concerts. Of course, it is quite popular among youngsters. Let's go to the sector number 6, and the most developed sector nowadays, it is video games. You can see the trend according to the Youngtat source that total video games revenue expand more than 312 billion United States dollars. If we look at the video game advertisement, it is like blue, it is 137, social and casual games, it is 113, and traditional games 62. Traditional games, it is like something like Monopoly with printing elements of this game. So the video game industry generate more revenue than film and music industry combined, estimated 227 billion in 2023. And if we go to 2027, it will be like this. Esports. Ticket sales for esports events jumped 100% in 2021, and it will increase by 150% in 2022. Cloud gaming, quite popular situation when we gaming with our colleagues using cloud. This sector is expected to grow at a compound annual rate of 45.5 between 2023 and 2030s. And what we have in our regional structure, while China and United States and the United States are the major players in game production, developing economies like Turkey, Pakistan, and India are predicted to expand the fast. Let's go to the example of video startups and video game startups. So we have lots of startups in blockchain and economy. Lookfort and Dapper Labs lead in infrastructure for digital ownership and in-game economies. Social and VR, virtual reality, so Rec Room and VR Chat are the dominant forces in user-generated virtual social spaces. AI integration, it is Rosebound artificial intelligence in visualizing asset creation. So asset, it means that we create different parts of our game, while modulate use artificial intelligence to protect voice chat communities. 3A innovation, that is Gonzilla Games, is blending high-end studio quality with next-gen technologies. Please write in the chat which video games you play and why are they so popular nowadays. I will type in this in the chat. Which video games you play and why? Why are so popular nowadays? So till you're thinking about this, okay. Uh, Katerina Sitchenko mentioned that it is Assassin's Creed because I like history and the aesthetic in general. Quite interesting. No one. XD, okay. Okay. Juliana Olinik mentions that often these video games about cartoons, which I saw in childhood. Great. Why we play the games? Because it brings us to our dreams and like virtual reality and help us like to relax. So if you read the information about COVID period, such company as Microsoft, because they have the Xbox, Nintendo, they receive huge revenues because people staying at home, they don't know what to do, and they still buying games, PlayStations, and other devices like to have fun at home. And when in European Union, some people ask um, new generation, like generation Y and generation Z, what will be the best entertainment for you? And they mentioned if you give for us a PlayStation, it will be the best entertainment for us. So therefore, of course, like such crisis as COVID-19 create a huge revenues for video games startups and big multinational companies. Okay, thank you, Uliana. Thank you, Danilo. So you mentioned quite interesting tendencies. And let's go to the sector number 7, and it is the last sector in creative industry. It is visual arts. Market value sales in global art market reached approximately 65 billion United States dollars in 2023. So key markets, as you can see in the slide, it is United States. It is 42 of sales. China, including Hong Kong, becomes the second largest for the first time, accounting 90% of global sales. And investment appeal, art has recently outperformed the traditional stock market with estimated 13 annual return on investment compared to the Standard & Poor's 500 as 11.9%. So it means that nowadays, because of their uh, value of art, people try to put their money inside visual art because they understand that it is a history, it is creativity, and this art bring a huge return of investment in the future. So therefore, also, we have lots of startups in visual arts. And at the end of our lecture, we also describe with you visual startup that we try to implement in our Poltava region. So visual arts and tech startups. So of course, like when we speak about engines, it is open artificial intelligence, and Anthropic provides the underlying tech for a new generative art movement. Of course, we go to the marketplaces because in marketplaces you can buy different visual arts like paints, pictures, some handcrafted materials, and good example of this it is Etsy. It is American platform where you can buy some visual arts. So the key driver, it is a shift toward verified ownership via blockchain and digital curation through artificial intelligence. Very good idea because lots of startups using blockchain, you can verify it who was the previous owner. So not to have situation when somebody can steal this visual art and after when you buy, you will have problems because it was stolen, for example, in museum or somewhere else, or private collections. Um, so we have some startups in visual arts. It is Artsy, connecting collectors for traditional and digital art globally. Then Limna, it is the world's first artificial-driven art valuation tool. Then art blocks, the premier destination for generative NFT art. Then Makerplace, it is a curated home for high-end digital masterpieces. Metamundo, creative 3D reading assets for the evolving metaverse. And let's look at the visual arts and tech ecosystem that we have nowadays. So if you speak about engines, it is OpenAI and Anthropics. Then if you speak about marketplaces, it is Artsy, Artblocks, Makerplace. If you speak about emerging tech, it is Luna AI and visualization with Metamundo, 3D assets, verified ownership like blockchain, and digital curation like AI powered. And generative art movement, of course, because we can use artificial intelligence to create picture, to create photos, but be aware if you took a photos from photo stock, you need to put author. Because if you put something in your, let's imagine, PowerPoint presentation, project, social media, if you don't mention the author, you will have troubles because it is intellectual property. And if I'm not mistaken, 12th of May, you will have a lecture in intellectual property, and our colleagues will describe better how to protect intellectual property, because today we speak about creativity, and creativity, it is creative industry and creative startups. It is, how to say this, the most biggest client and partner of IP offices, intellectual property offices, because you need to receive your author rights, you need to receive patents, trademarks for such creative projects, because if you don't do this, somebody can steal your ideas really very fast. And right now we go to our essential project management instruments. But before we go, as we have before, small tests. Just a second. Small test about our previous information about art, music, startups, etc. So right now I would like to ask you about which country holds the largest share of the global art market. What do you think? Yes, you are absolutely right. So let's answer to the next question. I hope that everyone can answer on this question. Just a second. Quite easy question about book talk. You remember? It is in our sector of book and publishing. What is the book talk effect in the publishing industry? First one, a new way to print digital books, social media influence driving book virtuality and sales, a government tax on digital reading, the transition from paper to e-link. Metro mentions it is C, but it is not C. You remember we have similar name in social media. Yes. According to the right answer, it is social media influence driving book variety and sales. You remember that book talk we have in TikTok. Excellent. And the last one, also very easy question about the fast developing market in music. So what region is currently the fast growing market for recorded music? Sub-Saharan Africa, North America, European Union, and East Asia. So Katerina mentioned that it is North America, but let's think about this. You remember I mentioned that North America and Europe and European Union, like it is a stable market, and fast growing, it is like something new, like something that grow really very fast. It is A, Sub-Saharan Africa. So Africa quite fast here, so therefore it is Africa. And right now we go to our next part of our presentation. It is about project management tools. Let's work on them. In this part, I would like to show you 10 essential project management instruments because when you work with startups, of course, you need to be the best project manager because you need to have a team, you need to sell your products and services, you need to find investors. You need to understand, is it better to enter to one country or maybe to sell these products in another country? And these 10 essential like tools or instruments are quite useful. And me as well, also I use this instrument in my daily basis and everyday practice. Everyone know about SWOT analysis. We can analyze our internal and external environment. Why this instrument is really very important for project managers? Because when you enter to a specific market, like SWOT analysis, it is not just like global, like let's imagine SWOT analysis for Amazon. It is not work like if you analyze for a global. If you choose a specific, let's take Amazon Prime, their streaming services, and we would like to go with this Amazon Prime in Ukraine. If you would like to go with this Amazon Prime streaming services in Ukraine, we need to understand strengths and weaknesses of these services and opportunities and threats that are waiting for such services in Ukraine. So opportunities like lots of digital users, increase of middle class, but threats, electricity shortage, yes, and power outages that we have in our country. So therefore, like not like during our blackouts, we have no opportunity to watch all these streaming services day by day. Also, it could be piracy that we have in Ukraine. Also, one of the risks for streaming services because of the lack of money, lots of people don't go to the theater or to the cinema, or they don't buy content. They steal this content in the internet using different platforms. So therefore, when we plan to enter a specific market, of course, we need to make a SWOT analysis to understand will this product or services works as well as in our country. If we look at the Amazon Prime, they they create a content for a specific audience. For example, the content for Europe audience is different from the audience for the Americans. The same with Disney Plus, because even Disney Plus right now very active cooperate with Turkish movie industry. So therefore, like when they try to enter to a specific market, they use SWOT analysis and they use pastel analysis. I would like to show you this one, and then we will come back to previous one. What is the main difference between the pastel and SWOT analysis? SWOT analysis, we analyze internal situation in the company plus external situation. Pastel analysis, it is just external environment scan. So we analyze political situation, like what for we need a political to analyze political situation. We need to understand which shows we need to show, like if we use streaming services. If we analyze legal, we need to analyze compliance requirements and industry regulations, like how let's take, for example, streaming services regulated in a country. If it is not regulated, so it is a good idea to enter here. Then environmental, so climate change, sustainability, and resource availability. So you know that some companies and some governments also try to use some carbon dioxide strategy and or some eco-friendly materials when they shoot videos or print in books, etc. Then economic, it is interest rate, inflation, and economic growth trends. Like especially it is quite interested in purchasing power parity, how much money people have and how much money they are ready to spend for cinemas, movies, music, arts, advertisement, etc. Then social, it is demographics, cultural values, and consumer behavior. It is the most important in creative industry because you need to follow traditions inside your country when you enter with a specific content. Next one is technological innovation, automation, and digital transformation. As we discussed in our previous part of our lecture, without digital sources, we can't have a creative industry nowadays and creative startups as well. So, and let's move to the previous instruments that I also use, flywheel effect. It is an instrument that created by Jim Collins. This strategic framework demonstrates how long-term growth emerges from small, consistent wins that compound over time. Initial effect feels difficult, but momentum eventually allows projects to sustain themselves and grow exponentially with less effort. So flywheel can consist from 5 sections, or I put here just 3 sections, like not to take so much time from your attention. So it is foundation, establishing core capabilities and process. So we found a startup. Yes, when we found a startup, you need to understand the minimum resources that we need, like for foundation of startup. Then acceleration, build momentum through the consistent execution. And like acceleration, like when we plan to expand our sales, let's imagine from our region to the all national level. Then exponential growth reap rewards as momentum compounds. It means that we are going not only just in Ukraine, for example, we go to the European Union, then we go to United States and become a unicorn as a startup project. Flywheel you can use anywhere, like for your startup project, you can use it for analyzing your product, life cycle of your product or service. So it is quite useful method, especially to understand where are you now and what you need like for your development. So, for example, I am in foundation stage. I have here such resources. Then for acceleration, I need these resources. For exponential growth, I need these resources like new people, maybe money for advertisement, money for buying new equipment, etc. Let's move to the Gantt chart. I hope that lots of you use this Gantt chart because quite common tool if you have a very big project and you need to control what's happened in each period of time. So here you have responsible people for the implementation of each task. You have time, different cells that are responsible for the months, a quarter, half of the year as well. And you have KPIs, key performance indicators that you need to achieve when you do this task. So the main purpose, it is like to identify task duration, start and end dates, dependencies, responsible people, and implement key performance indicators. Next one, asymmetrics or clarifying roles. So here you can use this method to work with your team. Responsible, accountable, consulted, and informed. So a responsibility assignment charts that eliminates ambiguity by mapping out exactly who does what every task in a project, critical for preventing confusion and ensuring accountability. So responsible, does the work to complete the task. Then accountable, owns the result and has final approval, only one per task. Consulted, provides expertise and input before decisions, and informed, received updates after the decision are completed. So it means that you need to describe and divide the task between people who is check responsibilities, another person who calculate results, person number 3 who provide consultation how to do this, and of course all teams should be informed about the results that you receive at the end. Why it is important? Because especially when you work with international teams or even with big teams, let's take for example startups that are working in web design and application and website developing. They have teams in Ukraine, in India as well. They have some developers and UX and UI designers in Europe, for example, and all these people should have their own task, and then you are, as a project manager, need to collect all their work in a whole project and then present this project to your client. It could be website, it could be application, it could be a game, or maybe some music or video content. So therefore, you need to directly divide all this task between people who is responsible for each part of this task, and then you as project manager, like you consult these people what to do, you calculate the time that they spend and control, and after this, when the project is made, you inform all the group how the project is moving, maybe some mistakes that they need to correct according to the client recommendations. So therefore, this matrix is quite useful when you manage your team. Then OKR's metrics, it is goal alignment framework. I also use it, like when we have objectives, we need to have key results. It means that, let's imagine, I put for myself like to write grants for our 60 communities, and key results. For example, 30 communities from Poltava regions receive fundings from European Union and started their projects. So it is key results. So therefore, like you need to have clear objectives and key results for each section and activity of your project. Next one is Kanban board or agile workflow management. It is also quite useful services. You can use Trello to do this. There are lots of digital tools. For example, I work in a Trello. So a visual workflow management tool that use cards to represent work, items and columns to represent stages of a process. Typically, to do, like you show for your team, which task you have here, for example, in progress, it is those tasks that are doing by somebody and done. For example, the last column is done. And the task from the first column, like when it is, for example, in the third stage, you put here. When it is in the second stage, you put here, and mentions the name and surname who is responsible for the for doing such project. Of course, very good tool for those who have lots of projects. You know that in IT startups, they have lots of projects at the same time. And for you as a project manager, you need to control all the situation. And Trello is quite a good instrument in using this. Next one is critical path method or longest route. You need to put tasks and put timeline when you need to do this according to your, for example, pipeline or customer expectation. Maybe you agree that, for example, you will do this project during 2 weeks, and you need to calculate what you will do for first task, second, third, and task number 4. A modeling technique used to identify the sequence of critical tasks to determine the shortest possible duration of a project. If any task on the critical path is delayed, the entire project completion date is pushed back, making it essential for the prioritization and risk management. For pest analysis, we described this. And the last one, it is risk management. So when we create a project, of course, we have risks. And we need to understand which risks we have and how to minimize the risk. Let's imagine in Ukraine we have power shortage, and let's imagine we work with American partners, how we can like tell them that we have no electricity, so therefore like our website is not ready for now. Of course, it is not works like this. We need to buy a generator, we need to buy solar panels, or we need to work and organize our work when we have the hours with electricity. So it is examples how we can minimize risks. Another risk, let's imagine during our startup, we need to buy some equipment. And because of the exchange rate fluctuation, it is common not just for Ukraine, it's common for European Union, for United States, for African region. When we have a fluctuation, we need to mention this in our contract, like to put the stable price for our equipment that during this agreement, so the price, let's imagine for the computers or laptops will be like this. And so when you buy, let's imagine for your startups, 10 computers, of course, it saves your money, it saves your budget, especially if you take this budget from the European Union or any other donor organizations. And right now we go to our practical part. Before we go to the practical part, I will also ask you a few questions about project management instruments that we discuss right now. Very few questions. Very few questions. And one of the questions was about analysis, external environment. Which tool we use for analysis of external environment? Maybe somebody can write in the chat. Which tools we use for analysis of external environment? Okay, so which extra source we use? Because what you remember, we have internal and external environment, but another tool that we use, it is just for external environment. Pestle, yes. Vladimir, you're absolutely right. Pestle, because we analyze political, economical, social, technological, economical, and legal. So, yeah, you're absolutely right. So let's go, not to waste our time, to our the most practical part, how to create a startup and how to apply for a grant for the startup. Oh, just a second, just a second, just a second. Mhm. Okay, let's look at the slide. About fundings and grants. If you speak about grant, lots of people think that it is quite common to the credits, but it is not like this. A grant refers to the funds, equipment, or other resources provided by a donor. It could be foundation, it could be corporation, it could be a government agency or private individual to non-profit organization or private person for specific work. These resources are not repayable. So what does it mean not repayable? It means that you don't need to give it back to your donor like a credit, for example, like interest rate. If you look at the types of grants, it could be three types of grants. It could be knowledge transfer, it could be equipment provision, and it could be financial resources. Knowledge transfer, it means that donor give for us an intellectual property rights, mainly copyright and know-how, and provision of consulting services. Let's imagine we would like to make a startup in creative industry, and you want a grant with consultation how to develop this grant. It is knowledge transfer grant. So why it is useful for you? Because you didn't pay money for consultation. Because if you apply for some agencies, it will be for money. Next one, equipment provision. Transfer of equipment necessary for project implementation. Let's imagine you need 10 laptops for organization of co-working in your city or maybe in your university. You apply for a grant, you apply for, let's imagine, Ukrainian Cultural Fund, and it will provide for you 10 laptops. Ukrainian Cultural Fund don't give for you money. This fund, let's imagine, buy for you this equipment and provide for you this equipment. Why it is good idea also? Because you don't need to organize tender, you don't need to find models of this equipment. Donor provided for you, and you just receive and take it for your project. Financial resources. It is when you receive funding for activities and initiatives with the project scope. You receive money on your account and you find equipment, you find consultants who provide for you new knowledges or help you with the implementation of this project. You find for your project manager, accountant, etc., and pay money for all this. Then participation levels. It could be technological grant and co-financing grant. Nowadays, lots of grants, they are moving to co-financing. What does it mean, co-financing? It means that donors, they would like to see that you're interested in the implementation of this project. So therefore, you need to put from 10 to 50% in cash or in kind of the amount of your project. So be ready that nowadays lots of funds and organizations, they would like to see your co-financing. Technological grant. The donor provides technologies, goods, or funds without recipient's financial participation. So technological. Without co-financing, like if it is co-financing grant, you need to be ready to have 10 to 50% in cash or in kind. Next one, advantages and disadvantages or limitations for applying for grants. for your startups. Advantages: effective tool for acquiring necessary resources, funds, equipment, services. Resources are not repayable and free of charge. Saves time in acquiring new knowledge through professional consultation, as we mentioned before. Allows for expanding product range or services list. Tax exempt status for resources received under the project. So it means that when you receive like a grant, you don't need to pay taxes. Limitations, like which problems we can have if we apply for a grant. Complex and lengthy project selection procedure. Yes. Nowadays, because lots of applicants, donors take from 1 to 3 months to analyze projects. I would like to provide for you our own example. We apply for the region fund for the cooperation between Ukrainian universities and universities from Norway. And we are waiting from March till June for this procedure, selection procedures, like to understand will we want this grant and what we'll do after this. Another example, when you have a startup, you have education course before you apply with business plan. Nowadays, lots of funds like Ukrainians and international, they try to provide their educational course how to create a business plan that will correspond to the aims of the donor. And of course, it also take time because sometimes it is from 1 to 2 months you learn the course, and after this you apply for a grant for money that is quite useful for a business. And lots of business in Ukraine, for example, they don't apply for such grants because they need money now, and therefore they don't want to participate in such courses. But I don't think so that it's a good idea to do like this, because more and more grants in our country with these educational courses nowadays. Even India, if you apply through, for example, Trajectoria or maybe Vidvajna, so all these courses, all these startup programs with educational course. Next one, mandatory periodic reporting on project progress and results. It means that when you won a grant, donor would like to understand where are you now? Like, do you buy equipment? Did you make a new product or provide new services? Every time you need to provide photos or links to your social media to show that you are in a process and in a progress of doing this project. Then requirement for a grant history and positive financial and credit history. When you apply for a grant, of course, you need to have you need to won grants before and receive fundings before. And there is a rule: if you apply for a grant for 1 million Ukrainian hryvnias or maybe euros, you need to have previous projects on the same amount. If you have no such amount in your grant history, sorry, you can't win a grant. Like it's a rule, like non-written rule for the donors, so they evaluate your activity and responsibility. Can you manage such amount of money before, like, to attract such money now? Need for high staff qualifications to secure grants and execute projects. It means that if you would like to receive a grant, you need to have a very good team with their CVs. You can create the CVs in Europass. I hope that everyone knows this program and use this program for their CVs with list of the previous projects. So therefore, if you apply for funds and grants with a huge amount of money, you need to have a very good and highly qualified team. Types of grant applications. There is two types of application. It could be single stage application and two stage application. So single stage application, it is like when you just send your application to email, or maybe upload in the website, and you check your status. Let's imagine in 1 week, in 1 month, when you receive the answer that you win this grant. Like how it works. You collect all the information, budget, application form, all useful documents like CVs from your team, documents related to the activity of your company, organization. It could be like your statute, or maybe it could be it could be information from the registration of your business. So therefore, or organization, therefore, like you create a package of documents and upload these documents in the website of this donor program, or you send to the email and waiting for a response. Two-stage application. It is typically used by the large international donors. Stage number 1, submit a concept note, project proposal covering organizational data, the problem, goals, target audience, expected results, key activities briefly, and total cost without a detailed budget. And stage number 2, if you are selected or your company or startup, the applicant submits a full detailed application. And now this is quite common, 3 stages application, when you also defend your project. What does it mean, defend? You participate in Zoom conference, or maybe this Google Meet conference or WebEx, and you present or pitch in your project. Like when you need to show how you will be effective in implementing this project. And lots of other applicants compete between each other by showing the best visualized result of the implementing this project. So I would like to show for you a structure of typical application form. Firstly, you provide organizational information, name, founding date, registration status, registration number, and it must match official state register records. You will be surprised, but lots of applicants that work with me, even here, they make mistakes. For example, they don't write the right email. When they make mistakes in email, so they can't receive the answer. Do they want this? Do they win this grant, or maybe they don't? Also about registration status, they need to put a registration code according to the state registry records. Then contact details, name, position, address, phone, and email for the agent authorized to act on behalf of the applicant. So here it is about director of a business or director of organization. Maybe it is non-governmental organization. Maybe it is director of university. Also here could be accountant or financial manager and project manager also here. Organization background, history, mission, achievements, current activities, and past experience, maximum 2 pages. Then project specifics. You need to put project title must reflect the goal of the grant activities. So it means that let's imagine you have to apply for ecological grant. Your topic also must correspond to ecological issue. You need to mention this in the title. Then if your grant, let's imagine for some target audience, let's imagine you have internally displaced people, or they give them money for help for internally displaced people. This target audience should be in the topic or project title of your startup or your project. Then relevance. Description of the problem project intends to solve this issue. And you need to show statistics here, maximum 2 pages. Then goal and activities, a comprehensive description of tasks and how they align with the donor objectives, maximum 5 pages. It means that you need to put all your goals and tasks according to the SMART principle. In the next slide, we will describe what is SMART principle. Then beneficiaries, beneficiaries or target audience, number, location, gender background of participants, and how they will be selected to participate in this program. Similar situation for your business. Who are your customers, for example? Management and technicians when we apply for a grant. It is timeline. It means that project implementation schedule accurate to plus minus 2 weeks, and be aware that donor will control. I would like to provide, for example, of a cooperation with German program, and when we apply for a grant, we put the list of workshops that we will have. These workshops related to the export and helping business expand their market. And we have lectures, like people who is responsible for giving these lectures. And we were really very surprised that like when we were on a grant, donor tell us if something happened, let's imagine somebody is sick, we can't change a person. We can change a time, but we can't change a person. So therefore also put such timeline in a team that is very responsible and ready to implement the project. So team list of staff with the attached CVs, as I mentioned before. Past experience. Past experience here, you need to describe previous project that shows a similar amount of money for which you apply. So technical activities, maybe some, also you can put links for this project. And name of a donor. Another example that I have with past experience, when you need to provide contacts and references from your donors. It's quite common for the Japanese government. If you apply for the grants of Japanese government, and American government as well, you need to provide reference letters or contacts, and donor apply and ask them, for example, please tell about the project of Svetlana too, how they implement this project, what about key performance indicators, what about sustainability of a project, etc. And after this, donor understand, is it good to work with you, or maybe they choose another applicant. Then monitoring and evaluation. It is quantitative and qualitative indicators of success of your project, and also you need to present this in your project. Is it startup, or it is like a social project? So also this paragraph should be in your application form. Risks and sustainability. You remember that before we have with you information about risks and their mitigation. So therefore, here you also need to describe risk mitigation plans, strategies to ensure that project continues after the grant ends. And the most important part, and the most difficult, it is budget. When you create a budget, of course, you need to put prices according to the websites that you use. Let's imagine you can use some platforms like Amazon, eBay, or Comfy, as in Ukraine, or Rosetka, where you can buy such equipment, for example, to show the real prices for your donors, that it is not like calculated in your imagination. You need to put real salaries and wages for your staff. And you need to put argumentation why you put such costs, why you would like to spend such costs. For example, if you put, let's imagine, $100 per day for your project manager, you need to explain why you put such money. For example, you can mention that average rate in Ukraine for project management per day is $100. So therefore, you put such amount of money. So therefore, the cost should be detailed in the budget, including cash expenses, in-kind contribution, and third-party funds. Let's go to the next part of our presentation. And we speak with you about project idea and alignment, how to create a topic, a title for our project, um, how to be the most power, how you can be more efficient than your competitors, and because project idea and the name of your project is really very important nowadays. Your name of a project should correspond to the aims of a donor. It should correspond to the target audience. It should correspond to the region. So, and it shouldn't exceed more than 15 words. Right now, donors tell that it should be like 15 words, not more than 15 words. If you would like to, how to say this, to win this project, like it should be clear and donor understand that your idea is corresponding to the aims of uh, to the aims of the donor. If the topic is not so good, the title of your project is not so good, be ready that they even don't read your project. Next one, the hook. Each startup and each project should have a hook. A hook, it means that something interesting that catching the donor ideas or maybe to show some innovations here. It must be clear, compelling answer to a specific problem. Then alignment. It is strategic synchronization with donor mission and professional field. It means that if we apply for, let's imagine, startup with virtual reality excursions, we need to find that donors funding such excursion. We can't apply for donors who, for example, support ecological projects or maybe humanitarian projects like help internally displaced people. So I hope you understand this quite clear. Then clarity, a one sentence value proposition that any reviewer can understand. Relevance, directly addressing the urgent needs of target community. Also very important notes that when you speak about your target community, you need to provide your research. You need to provide that you find statistics that you have such problems in your target audience. You find some information about in your region. Maybe you create questionnaires and Google forms and collect this information, because without this you can't win any project. So therefore, when you create the idea, it should be interesting, it should be short, it should be understandable, it should be alignment with donor missions, it should be clear and relevance according to the needs of target audience. Internal logic and smart task. Right now, we will discuss with you also this situation. All tasks that you put in a project should be according to the SMART principle. SMART, it is specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound. In my project, I will show you for each letter of this, but like, I mean, for each letter, it will be like example. But lots of applicants make this mistake. They think that they need to put for specific, for measurable, for achievable, for relevant, and time bound. In real life, it should be in one sentence. So let's take, for example, define exactly what needs to be accomplished. Train 50 digital artists versus support the arts. Just a second. So it means that if you write in your task support the arts, you can't win a grant. Like it is not specific, not concrete. So you need to put everywhere numbers, how many artists you will train, and they will, for example, organize exhibition. Then measurable, identify the metrics for success. 10 completed portfolios or 20% increase in revenue. Uh, and also we need to put in revenue of what? Of our startup, of our community, etc. Achievable. Ensure the task is realistic given your team expertise and donors budget. Relevant. Does a specific task directly solve the problem described in your reach? Time bound. Every task needs to clear start and end date with a grant's timeline. I would like to use this sentence and to provide for you like example for all this specific, measurable, achievable, and relevant and time-bounded principle. Train 50 digital artists during the next 1 month, or buy 60 items of laptops during the first months of implementation of project. So therefore, tasks should be really very clear, very logical, and time-bounded. The result, the project that is not just visionary, but technically feasible and easy to monitor. It is quite useful for donor to monitor, can you achieve your key performance indicators? So let's go to the target audience. When you think about target audience, you need to find information like data-driven information, human-centric, and credibility. It means that you need to find some surveys, focus groups, and statistics that show that you can fulfill the needs and wants of your target audience. Team and expertise. Your team should have relevant CVs, as I mentioned before, and very important expertise. About budget. Your budget should be efficient, compliance, allowable costs, and financial strategy. You remember that some projects need to have co-financing, and it is like 80 from donor and 20 payment schedule. It means that sometimes you're not receiving the whole amount in one period. Let's imagine the first month of the project. You can receive 80% in first month and 20% at the end of your project. About efficiency ratio. Administrative costs every time is limited. It means that you can't put a huge amount of salary for the project management, for the manager, for the accountant. It couldn't exceed 40%. Sometimes it is from 10 to 15. Allowable costs. There is some expenses that is eligible and non-eligible expenses. For example, luxury goods, etc. is not eligible. I have very interesting startup in beauty industry, and one girl, she would like to buy some Dior and Celine inputs, cosmetics, and I tell that with such expenses you can't won a grant. So you can buy equipment, for example, you can buy for providing these beauty services, but you can't buy all these cosmetics. So nobody can use this money for you because it is luxury expenses, and donors don't give the money for this. And I would like to take a few minutes of your time just to show you how can look startup in creative sector. Let's look at the name, Digital Heritage of the Tereshki Community in the Poltava region. An augmented reality journey through the time. Quite clear what we will do in this project, yes? In the first slide, we also put the time bound. July 1st, October 30th of 2026. Also in our first slide, we put project goal, what we plan to achieve during this implementation of this project, to preserve the cultural code of the community through innovation digital storytelling. Let's go to the next slide. Problem solving. The main problem is invisible heritage, physical losses. Most historical and archaeological sites in the community are destroyed or buried, making them invisible to the naked eye. Traditional information boards fail to engage the digital natives generation. So it means it is not so interesting for the generation Y and Z. And tourism stagnation. Lack of interactive content prevents the community from becoming a competitive tourist destination. The vision of AR revitalization. Bringing history back to life, interacting reconstruction, using AR to visualize 3D models of lost archaeological monuments on site, gamification, integrating digital quests to engage students and young travelers, and accessibility, making the route inclusive and available via smartphones, removing physical barriers to history. Let's look at the tasks that I tell you about smarter principle. Develop a mobile application with 10 AR-enabled historical locations. Aim for 500 plus unique application downloads within the first 6 months. You see we have how many times we will upload this application, during which time. Partnering with Tereshkivska Community Council for Physical Infrastructure, aligns with the national strategy for the digitalization of cultural heritage, and full deployment and launch within the 4 months window. So it means that this project we will implement during 4 months. Key project activities. It is key performance indicators. Collecting historical data and 3D modeling of artifacts, creating the AR platform and users interface, setting up 10 information stands with QR codes and site location, launch a social media campaign, and opening Quest event for yours. What about target audience? It is youngsters, Generation Z and Alpha, students seeking interactive educational tools and Instagrammable historical content, internal tourists, families from Poltava region looking for weekend cultural roots, and researchers and historians, users interested in high field digital archives of regional heritage. Expert team. You see, we have project manager, we have tourism expert, we have IT architecture, architect communication or SMM manager, and finance and accounting manager. So you see name, and they are like small functions. About budget and our financial strategy. So total budget, you see the total budget, you see the grant funding, and we see community co-financing. So be ready, as I mentioned before, nowadays, all startups and grants, they need to have co-financing in kind or in money.
Открой мне дверь.
Sustainability
Двери открой.
and future growth.
Щоб ти ще зафіксувала обновити.
Пані Ірино, ми вас чуємо. Будь ласка, вимкніть мікрофон. Okay, sustainability and future growth. So institutional ownership. The project will be transferred to the community balance sheet for ongoing maintenance, educational integration. Local teachers are trained to use artificial root as an outdoor classroom, and roadmap 2027 plans to add 5 additional locations funded by local business partners and municipal budget. And expected impact, we need to show for our donor that it is quite useful to invest in our project. 300 plus students engaged in local history via digital quests. 10,000 people reached via the information campaign, putting the Tereshkivska Gromada on the digital map of Ukraine. Economic impact, stimulation of local services, cafes, transport, cafeteria through increased tourism traffic. And 10,000 plus people reached via the information campaign, putting Tereshkivska Gromada on the digital map, and social impact, 300 plus students engaged in local history and via digital questions. Thank you so much. I know that we need to finish our lecture. Here you can find my contacts. You can write to our email. You can join me in Facebook by this link. I hope that our managers will share with you my presentation. And if you have any questions, even after my lecture, you can contact me, send me a message. Maybe if you need some consultation in creating the projects, startups, it is quite common for me, and I help to lots of people, not just related to like my locality. I mean, like Poltava region, also from all over Ukraine, people consult with me, and it's for free. So therefore, if you have some questions, write a link to your Instagram. If you don't mind, please contact with me in Facebook, because it is my business profile and also my business profile in LinkedIn. Like you can find me like Svetlana Tul. And like take me a message, and I will help you with any questions that you have according to the startups, like student startups, your startups, like small and medium business, as well as projects for universities, like academic, because I start my career as project manager from university Erasmus projects, like academic mobilities, and it was Jean Monnet, etc. So it means that more than 11 years I'm in different international projects. So therefore, like contact me and I will be happy to answer any questions. Thank you very much. Maybe some questions?
Oh, thank you so much for this lecture.
Thank you so much.
It was really interesting, especially the last part about the actual project, and we could see and how you implemented the SMART strategy as well. So it was really interesting. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Alan. Thank you. So if you have no any questions, I think that it's time to say goodbye, to have a fruitful week. And about your main task, Olena asked me like to give for you a task for your poster. I would like to ask you to use one of the, I will type in a chart, to use one of the project management tool for your project, because I know that you use business canvas. I didn't put business canvas in my presentation. I put extra like agile, like Gantt chart, etc. So therefore, use one of the project management instrument in your poster and publish it in Instagram. Just a second, I will type in our chat the task. To choose any project management tool. You can use BCG matrix, you can use SWOT, pastel, any you like. Just a second. So the task is to choose any project management tool to make your startup more effective. So choose any you like from which I represent for you. It could be a Gantt chart. It could be, if you like, about SMART principle in task creation. You also can use it. when you use especially Gantt chart, it helps you like to concentrate on your project, to understand who will implement this project, who will responsible for this project, and the main key performance indicators. Also, you can use SWOT analysis. You can use pest analysis for your startup. It is quite easy. And if you know agile principles, it is streams. Like streams, it is small parts of implementation of your project. Like when you divide your project for small parts, because like when you see the huge project like that I show for you, like with creation of your virtual reality excursion, it is quite a big project. But if you divide it in 5 stages, let's imagine create a content, or maybe collect any information, then create a content, then build this QR code information stands, and number 4 to promote this project in social media. So it is more easier. But when you choose all these activities, you also need to make small tasks and small activities for your team. What should be implemented here? So therefore, like you can choose any of these tools and create your posters. Like, thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Bye-bye.
very much. Goodbye. Goodbye.
Thank you for the lecture.
Goodbye.